What's up, guys? I am here to discuss about your first investment. So my name is Jon Herrera. I am a financial wealth coach. I believe this topic is actually one of the most asked questions, actually one of the most Googled questions is like, what is my first investment? How do I make more money? I get this from a lot of people who are working and who are actually not entrepreneurs. So I'll break it down to you in a way where, if I were to go back into time, I always go that what would I do differently? So in terms of your investments, I would say there's so many ways to invest money, and I think one of the best way to understand is like, what is your goal in an investment? So for me, whenever we talk to clients, we usually have two goals. We have a long-term goal and a mid-term goal. So usually a long-term goal is, a lot of people don't really plan for a retirement age. So they plan for a career, they plan for a job that will make money, but they don't realize that one day they'll have to retire. At that age, it can be a goal, it can be an aspiration, it can be not by default. What's default mean? Meaning that I have to work at 60 and 65. So that's kind of like a big problem now, that working and having no choice, but having no proper savings or investments put aside. So that's a long-term goal. So, having a proper goal for retirement and having that proper amount you want to retire. And usually you retire with that money so you can just pull off and live off of it on a certain lifestyle. So that's a goal around before we get into your first investment. A midterm goal, so you have a long-term goal or a midterm goal. Usually things that you currently need, like the house. You want to get a house within the next couple of years. You plan to get an education fund for your children, or you want to build a family, or you want a car, or you want a travel budget. So those are two goals first that we have to understand. Before you invest, you want to look at your goals, because why are we investing is to basically how to leverage your money or your funds, your income, your cash flow into these goals. So before we go into that, you have to get clear on the goal. And sometimes as a coach, we have to understand, what are those goals? How big are those goals? What are your lifestyles? So for me, if I were to go back into my first investment, I thought I knew it all, but I thinking that business is the only way to invest, which was wrong. I would probably give advice to myself and say, like, you would have to diversify risk. So you have what you call your foundation. So there's what we call in the Financial Freedom Triangle Foundation, which is the first thing you need to get as a first investment is some type of protection asset. What is a protection asset? An asset would be to protect yourself, because if you're working as an employee or working for a company, your health is the number one thing that you need to worry about. So first thing I would get as an investment to myself, even if my company has it for me, it was an HMO. You need an HMO because it's something that you can actually put and use for yourself if you get sick, and it doesn't take away from your savings. So the second thing I would get is actually a protection asset for life insurance. So there's this product called VUL, which means variable unit link. To simplify it, it's basically a 3-in-1. So what is a 3-in-1? A life insurance. Life insurance, if something happens to you, it basically pays for your family or for any type of expenses that goes to your beneficiary. 2, it's actually an investment. So you can choose an investment, whether it may be bonds with lower risk, balanced fund, and high risk equity. So actually, those are what people are using now in the 3-in-1, because they don't have a life insurance, they don't have a proper investment. Why I choose VUL? Because they have what we call fund managers. A lot of people like to say, hey, I want to choose stocks myself, but you don't have the time to do research. You don't have time to look at a desk and a laptop and make trades. So what I like about VUL is you have to look at who the fund managers, what type of performance they have. People think all funds are the same. No, you have to look at performance, the fund management, and the risk appetite. So VUL has protection, it has investment, and it has what do you call the last thing is automation enforced savings. A lot of people don't know how to commit to your first savings because they forget about it, they overspend. And one of the things that we teach people, especially on your first investment, you have to automate it. What does automation mean? That you can automatically deduct it from a credit card, a debit card, your salary. So once you don't see it, it comes out, you don't feel it. So why is a VUL for me one of the first things I would highly recommend? You can start as low as $2.5 a month. That's $50 in US dollars. 2, you have protection, and you can actually add protection such as critical illness, which is heart attacks, strokes, cancer. So there's 52 critical illness that you don't want to worry about if you get sick. And I notice a lot of people now, if you watch on Facebook, there are a lot of GoFundMe, Fund Me, Pass the Hat type of thing. So I would look at that as one thing you would invest for yourself, especially if you're a father or if you're a breadwinner. Get yourself a VUL. The beauty about a VUL and 3-in-1 is that you can do multiple ways of payments. You can do monthly payment, which is automatically deducted. We can do a semi quarterly, which is quarterly or half, or you can do every year one payment. So it really depends on your cash flow. The way you design a VUL is how much your goal is in 15 to 25 years with compound interest, or the goal that you want to retire at, and look at what do you need to put aside. If you were to put aside $5,000 or $10,000 every month for 5 to 7, 10 years. $5,000 doesn't seem a lot, but when you put compound interest, when you put time and you put the growth of the market, it starts to build up. As Warren Buffett said, he says, compound interest is like the 8th wonder of the world. So if you were to really get your first investment, I would say, get a VUL. There are tons of them out there. Look at the fund managers. Ask a financial coach to compute, how much do I have to put if I want to retire at 50 or 60, how much do I need to put aside today? At what growth rate? At 6% a year, at 8% a year, at 10% a year? There are different growths per fund. But you have to remember, your money today will look different from 20 years. What does that mean? Inflation today, the cost of goods will not be the same price as it will be in 10 years. Just like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, tickets for movies used to be 1/10 the price. Now it's so expensive. But inflation is what dilutes the value of fiat currency. So if you leave your money in the bank, that is something that you need to think about, because it is losing money. A time deposit loses money, and you have to start putting into a growth-bearing account. So that's really how I diversify. So if you're more simplified and you don't know what to do, talk to a financial planner. Click set an appointment. We can set you up with one. But my first investment is you would start to get a VUL. VUL has protection. You have a fund manager. You do not want to make mistakes on yourself by investing in the wrong stocks or funds just to give you experience. You can look at it and read it every day because you get reports, but don't try to outsmart the people who do it for a living. So what I love about the VUL is really that you have really great fund managers like Security Bank, BPI Asset Management, and they do it for a living. So if you want to go to next level, you can start doing other investments in direct stocks and mutual funds once you get your VUL. So for your first investment, make sure you protect yourself, get a life insurance. You can bundle it with an investment, and you can bundle it with a coverage that covers any type of sicknesses, because if anything were to happen, you need to have that parachute. And I feel that there's less awareness about this today because people don't know the products out there, and people don't know it's actually cheap and very, very affordable. So if you're a father, if you're a breadwinner, what's 2.5 to you? You need to make a sacrifice, and you need to make a sacrifice on what do I need to commit to earn a certain amount in 10 to 15 years. So by the age of 60, I have this amount of money that could last me 20 more years. So you use what you call time value calculator to see your money looking like in 20 years from now and how long it will last you. So make sure if you need to see a financial coach, you can contact me, my team, have a one-on-one coaching. We give it complimentary. We calculate what you need to put aside, and we help you also on your earning, managing, growth, and your whole distribution of assets. So first investment, VUL, protect yourself with investment, and covers you for critical illness. So that's my first investment for me.